Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I just wanted to come in and run my mouth and talk about the. Ooh, is it on? Okay, it's on. I just want to make sure, child. We have issues with the microphone sometimes. As long as it's green light, it's lighting, then we should be good to go. Um, what was I saying? This is Rodney, and I'm back, and I wanted to come in and run my mouth. So listen, all right. I'm not a big rap person. I mean, I can't sit down and critique a rap album, right? I couldn't, I could tell you how I feel about a song or two, but as far as sitting down, having these, provoking conversations about this line, the album as a whole, no. Pop, R&B, girl, we can sit down and have a little tongue tussle, right? Um, but anyways, JT's album came out. Well, I thought it was a mixtape. Some people are saying it's an album. I thought that it was a mixtape. Nonetheless, um, she put out a body of work. And for me, okay, I think that the mixtape, again, I read that it was a mixtape, not I was told. I read that it was a mixtape. But um, the body of work that she has presented to us, so far, so good to me. Y'all already know. Ow. JT coming, JT coming, JT coming, JT. I said, come on, JT coming. JT coming is my song. Uncle Al is my song. Really the one, really the one, girl, really the ones you could just throw it in a circle too. Okay. JT coming, DOD, Lemon Pepper. That's it, Uncle Al, DOD. Of course, OK. I like OK remix with Jeezy with his crazy self. Jeezy remix. Of course, Sideways and the songs that were already out. Anyways, so far so good to me. I saw some people who did not like they don't like it. Can I say something? It's one thing when you actually really don't like an album. That's completely fine, of course. There are albums, mixtapes, whatever you want to call them, that people put out that I don't care for either. Um, AKA Cowboy Carter. Can I say something before we get into this? Can I say something and y'all not jump on me?
Y'all finna jump me? Be honest.
I remember when Renaissance came out, and I don't know if it was because we were excited that Beyonce had put out an album. Even though she did come out with that, I forgot all about that. The Lion King project situation that she did. I didn't pay that no. I didn't pay that any attention. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I didn't pay any attention. So for me, this was her first album, girl, since her last album. Okay. Um, so I don't know if some of us were excited because this was her first album. What was her last album before Renaissance? Let me see. I can't remember what her last album was. Was it Lemonade? Oh yeah, it was. I think it was Lemonade. Yeah, so she had Lemonade in 2016, then The Lion King, The Gift in 2019, and then Renaissance came out in 2022. So again, I didn't listen to The Lion King. As far as I'm concerned, that wasn't an album. So for me, her last album was Lemonade. Okay, so I don't know if it was because for me, I hadn't heard an album from Beyonce in some years. Um, or if Renaissance really is a great album. This is just my opinion, it's not the gospel. I think Renaissance is one of the greatest albums that Beyonce has ever put out. If not one of the greatest, probably the greatest, just for me. If I was trapped on an island and I could only bring 10 albums with me, Renaissance would be one of those 10 albums. That's how much I go up for Renaissance. Okay. Um, I don't know if people were into Renaissance and the conversation continued for so long because even after Renaissance dropped, the conversation continued for months after that. Maybe it was because one, the album is just that good. Two, the tour was about to come up, and then even when the tour came, we still were into Renaissance, right? So I know there are factors that probably go into why the conversation surrounding Renaissance lasted as long as it did, right? An album hadn't been out in a long time. Renaissance was really a great album. She went on tour, right? We were still listening to Renaissance. So there are some things that go into it. Cowboy Carter. Girl, I have said it, I'm going to stand in it. I'm going to stand in it. I don't think I'll go for Cowboy Carter like that. Girl, y'all don't talk about Cowboy Carter anymore. Y'all talked about that album for about 2.5 weeks, and then the conversation stopped. Even when there were conversations coming out about her supposedly, probably going on tour, it still wasn't as big as a conversation that revolved around Renaissance. Again, I don't think that y'all were into Cowboy Carter. I think that y'all were into supporting Beyonce because those white people didn't want to play Texas Hold'em. Sorry. I think it was all about supporting Beyonce. I don't think y'all care for that album. I honestly don't. I hear people say, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Is Beyonce singing her throat off on Cowboy Carter? Yes, she is. Are there songs in the album that I absolutely love? Yes. Bodyguard is my song. Tyrant is my song. Daughters is my song. Yaya is my song. So there are songs in the album that I actually go up for, right? And then there are songs on the album. There are no bad songs on the album except for Texas Hold'em. Oh, I hate Texas Hold'em. But there's so much going on that album. There are some songs where I feel like it's 4 or 5 songs in one. And I just be like, girl, what is she talking about? Girl, how did this, like, the transitions just didn't make sense to me. Sorry. I just don't go for Cowboy Carter like that. I think that's probably one of, if not her worst album. For me, it's probably her worst album. Cowboy Carter is. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Baby, I'll take the Lion King over Cowboy Carter, and I ain't even listened to the Lion King. Hey, hello. Anyways, now back to what I wanted to talk about. I think that sometimes we don't give these artists a fair shot. And I'm gonna give you an example. And I'm not exaggerating what I'm about to say with what I'm about to say. When Meg Thee Stallion's album dropped, I remember her album dropped and I logged onto the Neighborhood Talk. The album had probably been out for, girl, 30 minutes. And there were already people online talking about the album was trash. Now let me go to her album. Hold up. Now it says that Meg's album is 52 minutes long. That's what it says. I'm trying to figure out if the album had just dropped and some of y'all were already online on the Neighborhood Talk talking about the album was trash. How have you really listened to an album that is 52 minutes based off of what Apple says in 30 minutes and came to the conclusion that the album is absolutely trash? Like, girl, you just skimmed through the album. There's no way humanly possible that you listen to an album that's actually 52 minutes and 30 minutes. You didn't do that. So where did you come to the conclusion that the album is trash? Now I could see if you said the album was trash probably after a listen or 2 or 3 or 4, or even after a day or 2. Even, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if it was like the next day and you had listened to it, a few times the night before, and you could have been like, girl, it's giving me all right. It might grow on me. But I just think that sometimes when it comes to a lot of these artists, when we have our opinion, and your opinion is your opinion, but I do question those opinions when you have those examples like I just gave of people getting online talking about the album is trash and the album just dropped 30 minutes ago. Girl, but the album is 52 minutes long. Sister, where did you get that from? What did you get the album is trash in 30 minutes, but the album is 52 minutes long? Girl, what did you listen to? Girl. But I like JT's album. I love JT's album. No, I like JT's album or mixtape so far. Again, my favorite songs are Lemon Pepper, DOD, Uncle Al, Okay. I've been loving Okay. What was the other one? Oh, let me see. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, JT Coming. Yeah. I like Swang. hmm I like Swang too. Yeah, but it's a cute little one too. I'm here for it. Shout out to JT. I'm here for JT. I'm here for JT. Shout out to JT. City Cinderella. All right, y'all. Let's get into this mess. So, this is a mess. I have a lot to say. Some of this I've already said, so I'm going to be regurgitating some of this information or some of my thoughts. Um, but it's kind of just to drive the point home. So this is according to TMZ. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Shiloh moves ahead with name change, takes out newspaper ad. So Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's daughter Shiloh is taking the next step to ditch her dad's last name. Also, a judge can speed things up and make it all official. Shiloh, who just recently turned 18, recently took out an ad in the LA Times newspaper to announce she'd file a petition to drop Pitt from her surname, which is a standard legality before the court greenlights a name change. Shiloh filed to change her name from Shiloh Jolie Pitt to Shiloh Jolie, per the newspaper notice. It also states anyone who has objections to the petition should show up in court later this month. Otherwise, she's going forward with the plan. As we reported, Shiloh filed the petition as soon as she turned 18 back in May, so it's clear she's eager to get this name change wrapped up ASAP. First of all, I had never heard of nothing like this before. So, of course, I went to Google, and it does say that depending on your state, you may have to publish notice of your name change application. The clerk of court should be able to explain this process, which usually involves paying for a notice to be published in the local newspaper, then providing proof that you've done so. I also saw that. So in California, yes, to legally change your name in California, you must publish a notice in a newspaper of general circulation that publishes legal notices in the county where you file your case. The notice must appear in the legal notices section of the newspaper once a week for 4 weeks before your hearing. You can ask the court whether you will file your case if they have a list of newspapers you can choose from. You can also contact the newspapers to find out the cost, which can vary a lot. Some newspapers will file a proof of publication with the court for you, while others will send it to you, and you will have to file it with the clerk of court before your court date. So I was like, let me see how it is in Texas. No. Okay. No, Texas does not require publishing a name change announcement in newspaper. However, depending on the court, the process may include paying for a notice to be published in a local newspaper and providing proof of publication. The clerk of court can explain the process. So basically, I guess it just depends on what state you live in. Of course, that will determine whether or not you have to go through the process that Shiloh was going through. I was in the blog. I mean, I was in the comments section, and so I put in the comments section. Y'all don't want to believe that behind the good looks, that Brad Pitt was actually hell on wheels behind closed doors, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to carry her mother's last name. Girl, of course, you know the people who stand up for the men. Girl, what the diva call them? Patriarchy princesses. Girl, the patriarchy princesses and the patriarchy princesses, no princesses and princes. Okay, girl, they didn't like it. Girl, it is what it is. Girl, you know I'm a one man. I'm a one man army. So, girl, when I say it, girl, I ain't changing it. Okay. Um, I understand that Angelina. Let me see y'all something. Angelina ain't no saint. Okay? We know that. Angelina was fucking Jennifer's husband at work. So we know Angelina, girl, she got some skeletons in her closet. She been up to no good at times. We know that. Okay? But not only was Angelina girl screwing Jennifer's husband was also screwing another woman. Okay? I understand that Angelina, I don't know, it's her husband. I don't know if her husband. I don't know if her father is still alive or not. But I know at one point, I think his name was John. He's been on the stories, right? The stories, the what they call soap operas. The old school. Our grandmama called them stories. Anyways, um, I might be thinking about somebody else. Oh, you know who that I'm thinking of? I think I'm thinking about. I think I'm thinking about Jennifer Aniston's father. Wasn't he in the stories? Anyways, girl, that's beside the point. Basically, I understand that Angelina did not um, have the best relationship with her father. I think some people are trying to say that because Angelina didn't have the best relationship with her father, that there's a possibility that she is basically tainting the kids and the way that they think about their father. I don't believe that to be true, and I'll tell you why. I remember Shiloh growing up and Shiloh being on the red carpet, just being out with her family, and Shiloh would dress like a little boy. We just gonna talk real plain and clear. She would dress like a little boy, right? Some people even probably thought that she was gonna transition because of the way that she would dress, the way that her parents allowed her to dress. In my honest opinion, Shiloh has been given the her parents have allowed her to think on her own even as a child. So even as a child, when people tell you that you're a little girl, you should be wearing pink and dresses and flats and barrettes, right? And pigtails and all that stuff. Charlotte was walking around here, honey, with ties on and blazers, honey, with an old nasty girl, you know, girl, little boy haircut, right? So clearly, her parents were allowing her to think for herself. It is hard for me to believe now that Shiloh was 18, with them allowing her to have the freedom that they gave her to dress the way that she wanted to dress, present herself the way that she wanted to present herself. That now all of a sudden, Angelina is stepping in and is not allowing her to think at 18. If they allowed her that freedom to think and dress and present herself to the world as she wanted to as a child, then why would Angelina all of a sudden stop her from thinking when she's legally grown? 18 is not grown to me, okay? But legally, she's an adult. I just don't believe it. I think that what the problem is, I think that I think that we should ask questions. I think that we should ask questions to Angelina. We should ask questions to Brad. But where the problem comes in for me is instead of y'all, not y'all, but y'all, instead of people always wanting to put the blame on Angelina, why don't you worry about why the fuck Angelina didn't want to fuck with her daddy? Worry about why all of Brad's kids don't want to fuck with him. That should be the question you should be asking, or at least one of the questions. Because trying to put the blame on Angelina because she didn't have a relationship with her father, go ask the father if he's still alive why your daughter don't want to fool with you. Go ask those kids why they don't want to fool with Brad. Go ask Brad why your kids don't want to fool with you. Because all those kids are not dropping Pitt as their last name just because it's fun. I believe that Brad was hell on wheels. I do. And I believe behind the good looks, people get caught up into that. And they don't want to believe that this person who they probably get wet in between their legs for, girl, was really over there, girl, putting his hands on his kids and possibly putting his hands on Angelina. I'm just saying. Because I don't think Angelina is a saint, but those kids are just not moving the way they're moving because, oh, girl. And why do y'all, not y'all, why do people get so worked up because you have these kids out here who don't want their father's last name? The people have convinced y'all that y'all last don't, that the people have convinced women and men that women and your last name don't mean shit. That is trash. That is disposable. So you give your last name up for a nigga, and then you turn around and want to question the other people on the other side. Why you want your mama last name? Why didn't you keep your last name? That should be your question. Why didn't you give your kids your last name? You don't think it was good enough? You want to uphold the patriarchy? So while we worried about the kids wanting their mama's last name because it means something, let's ask you, why don't you give your kids your last name? Hello? Hmm. Anyways, shout out to Shiloh. It is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Um, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened, but those kids were there, and those kids know what happened. And something happened for all those kids not to want to fool with Brad. It ain't just Angelina, oh, just over there, girl, just screwing up those kids' head, and she ain't got no relationship with her daddy, so it got to be it. No, it could be that Brad literally is a piece of shit. And if the kids even told y'all that, yeah, my daddy was a piece of shit, the people still probably wouldn't even believe the kids because it would still go back down to Angelina. Oh, Angelina, she did that, she did that, she did that. No, 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 no. The kids telling y'all what they daddy did. Okay. Anyway, shall let's move on. Okay, so there was remember that guy named Fousey? Fousey too. He used to be so cute to me. I think he was going through some mental health issues at one point. He was like he was a YouTuber that I used to watch like back in the day. Um, but yeah, I think he was going through some mental health issues at one point. I believe so. Anyways, so not anyways like that, but the story that I wanted to talk to y'all about was it was a headline on Neighborhood Talk. Tyga responds after a woman claims she was partying with him in a hot tub at 13 years old. He was in the comments and he put back to the money, MF's crashing out for content, lying, ASSBITCH. So this is what she had to say. So listen to, so now let me just make sure I clarify. She's not saying she slept with him at 13 years old. She's not saying she dated him at 13 years old. She was just saying how she partied with him. All right. I'm going to let you listen to it. Her and her friend basically lived in the neighborhood and they got into a party and they were 30. I don't know how old the friend was, but she was 13 and he was however old he was. One at the time, and me and my best friend were 13 in 7th grade. We snuck in with her. We pulled up in the dad's Rolls Royce, and then the security literally just let us in because we're in the gated neighborhood. So, what the fuck? And then I was partying in a pool with Tyga at 13 in a hot tub. I was very annoyed. I've had the craziest line of stories I could tell for days. I was very annoyed. So that's basically what she said. This is the thing, Tyga. Again, she's not saying, not in that clip, that she had sex with him, that she dated him. She was just saying that she partied with Tyga. Tyga, based off of your track record, baby girl, okay? Based off of the streets saying that you were 24, 25, in a relationship with Kylie Jenner, it's not hard to believe for some people that you could possibly be partying with someone who's 13 years old. And depending on how the girl looked at 13, right? If she could have passed for 15, 16, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just not hard to believe. Or I'll say this much. Tyga, based off of your track record with Kylie Jenner, it doesn't help people believe that you could have been partying with someone while she was 13 years old and you were probably a grown ass man. It's just not based off of how you were with Kylie Jenner. See, that's the problem. You now put yourself in a situation where you have to come out and defend yourself, but based off of who you have dated and how old they were, people will believe that you could have been partying with someone who was 13 years old as a grown ass man. That's the only thing I was missing from the story. I don't know how old he was. What y'all think? Y'all think she's telling the truth? Y'all think she lying? You never know nowadays. She could be lying, but like I said, it's not like he's built this case where, girl, we could believe that she's lying. I know there's a difference between 13 and 16, 13 and 17, girl, but for me, girl, it's all the same. 13, 16, 13, 17, girl, you's a child. Hello? Hello? And we know, girl, let me shut up. Anyways, hey, okay. Let me shut up, honey. Let me shut up. So, trigger warning. Okay, we're about to talk about the R word. Lil Reese, this is according to TMZ. So, Lil Reese arrested for alleged the R word. Lil Reese is facing serious allegations. He's accused of in Los Angeles, where police took him into custody, TMZ Hip Hop has learned. According to law enforcement sources, Lil Reese went on a date with a woman, and following dinner, he and the woman went back to a downtown LA hotel where Reese allegedly insisted they have sex. Cops say the woman rebuffed Reese's advances before he allegedly forced himself on her and awed her. We're told the woman then went straight down to the hotel lobby and called the police around 3:30 a.m. Sunday. We're told police officers arrived on the scene and arrested Reese on suspicion of SANR. Boosie was an apparent witness to the arrest and put out an ADP on Reese's friends to bail him out. Reese was later released on a $100,000 bond. We've reached out to his team, still no word back. Okay, hold up. They had an update. Okay, so this was updated on the July the 16th at 9:40 a.m. So Lil Reese is reacting to the charges with denial. In his own words, is unbothered like an MF. Girl, if somebody accused you of the R word, your response should not be, I'm unbothered like an MF. Girl, what? Okay. And eagerly awaits his chance to vindicate himself. This is what he had to say. On my sister Riri, the whole story capped and made up. If I look like this ain't that. I know better. In the same way y'all posting that, make sure y'all post the case gets thrown out on my court date. They do anything for clout and they trying to come up again, try again, 100, 100, 100. Listen, I'll say this much, I believe, girl, if we find out the girls and boys, whomever it is lying, they need to go to prison. So if we find out that she's lying, she definitely needs to serve time in prison for lying. The other side is, girl, y'all always say that, not y'all, but y'all, the people always say, why they wait so long? Why they wait so long? Why they be waiting 10, 15 years? She reported it the same day. So now what excuse y'all got now? I'd rather just wait out and see what they have to say. Right? So you have someone who reported what she alleged happened to her the same day or the same morning. People always say you shouldn't wait. You have someone who didn't wait, allegedly. So I guess we'll find out. All right, y'all. I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good night. Bye, y'all.